Hello everyone, this is Coasterhead Matt or MT Avenger 55, and this is my review of the iPhone 5 video. This is my in-depth review, which will take a look at Apple's latest smartphone. Here's a look at my case. It's called a Bear Premium case. I am going to get an out-of-box as soon as I can find them cheaper on like Amazon or eBay, but until then, this is what I have. It's a nice thin case, but enough of that. Let's get started. So for review purposes, I took off that case. But here's another look at the iPhone 5. If you saw my unboxing video, you've already seen this. But the front, you can obviously see the new 4-inch display. You got the home button there. Again, I'm glad they kept the home button because there were rumors that there was going to be a digital button, much like the Droid phones. The front-facing camera has been moved to the center. On the left side of the device, you got the mute volume rockers. That's all that's on that side. You see 2 antenna slots for better signal. On the back of the device, you see the new iSight camera, 8 megapixel with flash, 1080p HD, Apple logo, and that's all that's on the back. This is the black slate. It's made by beautiful aluminum. It's a really nice design. On the right side of the device, you see the micro SIM card. At the top of the device is the power-sleep awake button. And on the bottom of the device is a significant change. You can see the 3.5mm headphone jack got moved to the bottom left. There's a new speaker, and of course Apple's new charging lightning connector. And here is the new charging connector. It can go in either way. See, that way you can take it out, flip it, and it'll still charge the other way. It's no big deal. And also here's a look at Apple's new headphones. They're actually really nice. When you first look at them, you're like, that's got to be very uncomfortable. But again, they do feel really good. And this is very handy, especially for my case, because the case blocks the volume rockers. And here's just a side-by-side comparison of my old iPhone 4. You can see it is considerably thinner. Of course, the iPhone 4, you had the 3.5mm headphone jack at the top of the device. Volume rocker's the same. The back's obviously different. It's all glass. And again, I'll look at the difference between the charging dock and the front-facing camera. Now, one thing I did notice, the first thing when I took out this phone was how light it was. As I'm holding both of these devices in my hand, this phone is considerably lighter than the previous generation iPhone. So big plus to Apple for making this phone. Definitely, I think it's 20% lighter and 18% thinner, but it is definitely considerably thinner than the iPhone 4. Okay, on to the review. Looks like a typical home screen. That's Halloween last year. It's October 1st, so I gotta get with the theme here. So, decide to unlock the device. First thing you'll notice, extra row of apps. With the 4-inch display, you get the extra row. The iPad also had 5 rows of apps, so I have an iPad too, so I was already used to the 5 rows, but it was just nice having it on the actual iPhone. So, the first thing we're going to take a look at, since this is a phone, is the phone. The phone. This is a redesigned keypad. You can clearly see the refresh look for iOS 6. Voicemail still looks the same. Contacts still look the same. Recent calls still look the same. And favorites still look the same. But again, that's the new refreshed look for iOS 6. This, if you've upgraded your old device to iOS 6, it will look like this as well. And we'll take a look at messages. Everything still looks the same. You got that nice blue banner on top of it. Some people like it, some people don't. So it's a love-hate thing. Since we're into texting, let's talk about the keyboard here for a second. I guess I gotta unlock that. And we're gonna test this keyboard out. There are 3 different ways you can type on this phone. And we're going to show the first way, which is in portrait mode. That's how I type. We'll just do a quick little sentence to see how responsive the keyboard is. The little boy threw the red ball. So again, very responsive. I haven't had any problems with this keyboard. As I looked at some reviews, they were saying problems with the Q and the P and or whatever. And then you can also type in landscape mode. Now this is a little bit tough because again the screen is bigger, so you have to get used to the extra room. Same sentence. The little boy threw the red ball. So that's that. And you can be saying right now, how is there 3 ways to type? Well, the third way, you don't have to type. You have, see this little button here? It's voice dictation. It's kind of like if you upgraded your Mac to OS X Mountain Lion. It's the same thing. Let's test this out. Same sentence. The little boy threw the red ball, period. Okay, so it's got the wrong threw. But apart from that, and it capitalized the R for some reason. But still pretty responsive. It's still new or software, I should say, so you can't expect it to be perfect. So that was a look at the keyboard. I can delete that from my notes. And next we're going to take a look at the calendar. Again, nothing's really changed in this calendar. If you've seen one iPhone calendar, you've seen them all. So we don't really need to go into that too much. Email is kind of the same. Normally it would open up with your Apple ID, but for some reason it always opens up with iCloud this time. And there is no refresh button. To refresh it, just do that, and that's how you refresh it. And there's also a VIP for your VIPs. I don't have any VIP people that I email, so I don't really use that. What we're going to take a look at next is settings. There are a few new features. You can see this Do Not Disturb. Turn it on there, you'll see the little moon. And that means if someone tries to call you, that it will go right to voicemail, so you won't have to worry about it. So if you're at work or school, you don't want anyone calling you that time, you just hit Do Not Disturb on. Or especially if you're sleeping, you don't want people to call you. Boom. Also notifications, you can see it right there, and you can select which one. There's also this share widget here in notifications. And if you go down to Notification Center, you can see the tap to tweet and tap to post. If you turn off the share widget, they're not there anymore. So I love that feature, so I am going to keep that on. But that's if for some reason you don't want the share widgets on. Also, to get to your location settings, you have to go into this privacy settings. Then you see your location services. So you can also manage your Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. Integration. That's really cool with the phone. So that was that in settings.